So Denny Hamlin was in the lead, and then this guy Ryan Newman passes him for he was ahead of him for 5 seconds, and I thought he was gonna win, and then for some reason or another the car just turned right, and then
you're talking about Newman's car?
Yeah,
Well,
Newman's.
he got bumped in the back.
By the guy behind him.
Yeah.
But the guy behind him helped him get to the front, which was really. And I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend I know how NASCAR works.
Well, they are on teams.
The shake and bake, with Talladega Nights. You know how they would always.
No, I never saw that dumb movie.
I've seen it.
You've never seen Talladega Nights?
Dude, I haven't seen any movies.
It's a classic. You've seen it, right?
Yes.
You know how they were shake and bake?
Yes,
How
the shake
John
and
C.
bake.
Reilly would always
Yes.
let him win.
Oh, John C. Reilly's in it?
Yeah.
And Will
Good
Ferrell,
movie.
right?
Will Ferrell, yeah. He's Ricky Bobby.
He's Ricky Bobby, yeah.
I can't believe you haven't seen that.
Really? I
Yes,
haven't seen a
can't
lot of
believe
good
that.
movies.
That's like not seeing Pineapple Express.
It's kind of like not seeing Talladega Nights, though.
Have you seen Pineapple Express?
Yeah. I invented it.
Okay. But so he pushes him from behind, and he helped him. He helped him get to the front. But then all of a sudden he just
So we're talking about
pushed him.
Talladega Nights or the Daytona 500?
No, this is the Daytona 500. How the Ricky Bobby shake and bake, and he pushes. So Ryan Newman gets to the front, and then whoever was behind him. Do you know who it was?
No. In the real NASCAR?
Yeah.
No.
What?
No, I have no clue.
Okay, you didn't watch it for the whole day.
So
I've
then
been to NASCAR
he was trying to go around him.
And he got in front. No, the guy who was behind him tried to go
Yes.
around him?
Yeah. He said he thought he had him square, which I think that means he was past him. And then he tried to get in front of him, but he bumped him and turned him to the side.
So he helped him get to the front and then was stabbing him in the back?
Are you sure he helped him?
They were probably on the same racing team, and he was like, I want to win, but I also want my teammate to be out ahead of
so
everyone.
I'm going to kill this guy to get in first.
No, he was visibly shaken up.
Well, the guy's
And
alive.
then laughed.
He laughed?
No.
Because that's what I was in from the movie Talladega Nights. John C. Reilly gets fed up with always letting Ricky Bobby win.
Yes,
And
yes.
then he bangs his wife and steals his whole family. But they I didn't think that they would just turn on each other like that in mid-race.
Well, they're all in it for
You
themselves.
didn't think he'd try to murder him?
That
in the
is
middle of the race?
surprising. A heel turn in the last race, the last lap. Of
We're
the
allowed
race.
because he's alive. We can
No,
make a
he's
joke,
fine.
Yeah,
right?
he's fine.
He's fine.
How?
We hope he gets a speedy recovery.
Yeah, no.
everything is well.
Yeah.
Denny Hamlin did win. Denny Hamlin, by the way,
How?
3 out of the last 5 Daytona 500s he's won.
Dude, it must suck so bad for his family, Ryan Newman, just seeing that, and it's oh.
It's I don't know what's going on.
And then apparently he's superhuman, and now he's just cracking
He's good.
jokes with him.
Yeah, he's good.
They said
It's
he's
crazy
cracking
too
jokes.
because
Said he's talking to his family.
this
So you
picture.
just assume he's throwing out knock jokes.
Yeah.
But it's actually crazy to think about
You
it.
think
from
he blacked out?
Yes, he was unconscious. But that's the point.
point.
That's the point. Because picture the last thing he sees is he thinks he's about to win the Daytona 500, and then just like that,
He's just in the
he's
hospital.
just
He wakes up
he's
in the
just
hospital.
Completely, yeah.
And everyone, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
And he's, what?
It's crazy,
Did
right?
I
It's
win?
yeah, did I win that? But he was right there. It was the last lap.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Honestly, for somebody who has never watched NASCAR before, and I turned it on for a second,
I'm definitely
So the
more
guy-
It was
invested in
exhilarating.
NASCAR for the last day
it was
than I
it
ever
was
have been in my life.
it was exhilarating.
What do you mean you were interested in it? You were just interested in the guy that could have died. Did
No,
you care
yeah,
about
He
the
was
sport?
looking at the
Were you,
numbers of the next
watching
race.
NASCAR
He was
highlights?
he was
Nah,
like,
I
who
was-
we got next race, boys?
What? it was more interesting than I ever had been in NASCAR.
Yeah, but not.
But
you
like not
weren't,
for the right reasons.
you weren't
I didn't
interested
care
in
about the race
NASCAR.
at all. I just wanted the guy to be fine.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Memo.
Yeah, give us
Rated
a little,
R this episode.
give us a little intro, Brodsky.
Well, here we are. We're back, following up on my first live action podcast episode with blonde hair. Obviously, if you guys
Live
checked
As
out,
opposed to the animated one.
well, we do a lot of stop motion here on the show, so this is live action. But here we are. Obviously, my hair is very blonde. It's almost yellow at this point. I need to like do something to make it not
You can
crayon.
see the darkness coming
Yeah.
in though underneath. Kind of looks cool. I kind of like it.
It's been like 2 days though.
Look
It
like
shouldn't be
Goku.
like that. That's like you're right, and it's a little bit too much. But welcome back to the Memo. We have a couple questions to follow up on that we didn't hit last week. I think we're bringing back some old time segments here with a little stamp shred. I know Richard has a scrap heap. I also have a scrap heap to get through.
I'm gonna be scrapping.
Alex hasn't scrapped anybody. This
All
is the
over the
first
place.
episode. You're gonna be
Yeah,
scrapping
Alex-
all over the place.
I want to be scrapping. all
Everybody's
over the place.
okay in Alex's mind. Nobody
Yeah.
deserves to get yelled at. It's
I have
all,
the
it's
best
super-
scraps.
Do you have a scrap tonight?
No,
Okay, there you go.
but I
So-
wait
He
for
thinks,
when
he,
they're
thinks he
deserved.
saves it for the good
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
He just
Okay,
can't.
my scrap of Baker wasn't legendary.
Oh, that guy just rained one.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
It was good, but you're gonna come out once every year. It's not worth it. We deliver. McGloin deserves one.
McGloin is.
Yeah, nobody's gonna know what Richard's talking about.
I
Nobody
don't
watches the
know. I
XFL.
think it's gotten
It
some
was
headlines.
it was trending.
It's gotten
It
some
was
big
like
news.
one of the number one trends on my Twitter. I saw it.
He
It
deserved
was like, you know, when you go on the Twitter app and it has the one on. There's the one
Yes,
on top.
So
of
why don't
trending.
we stop talking about it and get right into it then?
No, we're not starting with the scrap. You can't force a scrap.
That's
That
why
just goes
I don't
against
do it.
everything we just said.
No, you can't force it. These are natural
I
scraps.
have no one to scrap,
McGloin,
but
Carlos Correa.
Yeah, but then that's what his argument is, that he's not forcing a scrap if he doesn't have one.
Who am I going to scrap?
That's up for you to decide.
It's not a
Someone
decision.
deserves it.
It just
Scrap-
happens
Someone
naturally.
every day
Scrap
deserves a scrap.
Cespedes.
Cespedes? I have nothing wrong
You don't want
with
to
what he
scrap
said.
the MLB
He's just
commissioner?
not. He's not going to follow
The
through with
commissioner,
it.
Manfred, doesn't deserve a scrap.
He does.
Okay, well.
What's first then? What do we?
Some
What's
scrap metal. Some
Oh.
scrap
Oh,
piece of metal.
okay, all right. That's good.
first? Sounds like you have something
Um,
deep in you.
No, we can get into, before we do, like, because we have the stamp shred, couple segments, scrap heap, and then the questions, like I was trying to introduce before Alex tried to sabotage the entire segment. We have,
You came at me.
well, whoever came on
He is
who
a
is
saint.
whatever. It's just beside the point. We're all.
1325.
We were gonna get into stuff
Fresh off the
before.
punishment too.
We have. Stop it. We have. So we touched on Ryan Newman. God bless his soul. We wish him the best. His family, whatever. Win the race next time.
Oh my god.
I agree.
What did we have after that? It was.
We had some.
There was.
We
It
can
wasn't
talk about
the soccer.
We were going to talk about the All-Star
It
game.
was, no. Oh no, I got you. Joe
soccer,
Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Okay, so
some big.
we're gonna
and-
jump into Joe Burrow. What?
We should talk about Dwyane Wade too.
No.
Why?
I don't want to touch that.
Why? We should give our opinion on it.
I don't have an opinion on it.
You don't have an opinion on his daughter
No.
being trans?
No, that's what it is.
You don't think he was a supportive father? It was nice.
I
think
do,
he is,
but
yeah.
we're not. I don't have an opinion on it. Like that's just what they are. Good for them.
That
Whatever.
guy is an idiot, boozy.
Yeah, Lil Boozy's
Yeah,
an
boozy,
idiot.
badass, dumb.
What are we gonna say about it?
What? It was a big thing that happened in sports.
It was a bit. What was a big thing? The guy saying that, or that's the whole Dwayne
The whole
Wade situation?
and him being supportive of it. It was cool to see, in my opinion.
No, yeah,
That's
I mean,
my opinion. It was nice.
I do,
and
but I
people-
think that the way that you normalize it and have people like Lil Boozy not making such a big deal out of it is just act like that's their life and good for them. You know, it doesn't
but
deserve
as
hate.
people who
It doesn't deserve.
as people who do commentary on sports, we should voice our opinions.
I feel like it's not my business to like talk on what they're doing. Like, if whatever, Dwyane Wade's,
It actually is our business.
that's not my business. I'm here to talk about sports and like life and stuff, but whatever they're doing,
Well, it's definitely something.
All right.
sports
Somebody
and
talk
life.
about it then.
I
I gave
know,
my
I see
piece.
where
I
you're
feel like
coming
it's
from.
great for
I think
them.
you're-
Like, I appreciate Dwyane Wade. Obviously, their child has whatever right they want to declare, or feel whatever gender neutral side that they're on, and that's
Get your point of view of like it shouldn't be hated on, or if you want it to be normalized and really seen as something that shouldn't be like looked at with a second glance, like instead of praising it every time or shitting on it every time, it's just like it is what it is. That's life.
Yeah.
That's how you act like it's normal.
it just like
I know there has to be a process towards getting to that point. It's not that simple as it's this or that.
I think to get to that point where it's normalized, because it's still not, it needs to be like supported by people with a voice. So I'm here to voice my support. I also don't, if you have a different opinion, then that's fine, but I'm supportive of it. I'm supportive of parents being supportive of their kids, because too many parents just completely fall flat in that regard. And I like it a lot.
I do too.
Good for the both of them. Good for that whole family. They seem like they have a healthy situation over there.
And I know people are probably going to argue, should he... People say, like, oh, at that age, they... Like the guy Boozy, he's saying they don't know what they're going to eat next. Why are you letting him make a decision like that and supporting that? But, I mean, that's just... Like, from my point of view, that's not... Like Matt said, not my business to really comment on what they're doing and what he's supporting, what his child is doing. And I personally think it's fine that a kid is deciding that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think is messed up is when parents that are like extremists about this stuff force that onto kids and then confuse them.
That's not at all what's happening here.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what Lil Boozy, and this guy, like, he doesn't even deserve the time of day to bring him up in this situation, because he's so ignorant and stupid about what he's saying.
Yeah.
But my take on it is that I can't get into the head of what Dwyane Wade's child is going through. I can't get into what Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union are going through. Whatever they decide and how they want to handle a situation like that, and whatever that child is feeling, that's their decision. And I completely, like, one, I support it, obviously, but two, like, it's whatever they want to do.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, and I don't mean this to be like an insensitive way, but like, it doesn't affect me, so I'm not going to be somebody to judge what they want to do. In terms, it's just like, good for them, Like, they do what they want to do. I can't get into their mind and what they're doing, what they're going through, but I'm not going to be somebody to project my own thoughts and opinions onto somebody else when I have no idea what I'm talking about.
And
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly valid take, and I'm glad you voiced that.
and
Yeah, I mean,
and like you're saying, you don't have to be the one to like have a take on it. Like, and nobody has to have a take on it.
right.
Like it doesn't have to be a.
And also, it's not like Zaya is her name now.
Okay.
She's 12. She has a lot of life to live. It's not like Dwyane Wade is forcing her to be a certain way. It's not like she's locked into anything yet. As far as I'm concerned, she has not gotten a sex change, and like, she might feel different tomorrow, or like,
hey, people go through phases, man.
yeah, people need to stop acting like this one news cycle is someone's entire life, because she's going to go on and live the rest of her life, and Dwyane Wade's going to go on and live the rest of his life, and Gabrielle Union's going to go on and live the rest of their life. And we need to see, like I'm just never going to talk down on someone supporting their kids.
No, I
Just
agree.
never.
That's
That's why I also feel like that it doesn't need to be such mainstream news and like all over the place. And I understand why it is, because Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union are like A-list celebrities and people are interested in their personal lives. But for that reason, why like, it's one thing today, and who knows what's going to happen down the line in a couple of years from now. But this is what you hear, and you hear anecdotes of different types of things without hearing the full story. And people formulate opinions on something that they really don't have any information about.
And probably a lot of people, well, the reason that this became big news is because it's a very polarizing topic, and probably a lot of people who support this were vocal about it because it's probably looked at as a major win for that community and people fighting for their rights as a whole. And then there's the other side of things, and it was just a clash of those two schools of thought. And
no, it's definitely interesting, and it's cool to see Dwyane Wade continue to be a good guy.
Of course, yes. So we
Except
can all
that
agree.
He ruined the dunk contest, but that's a different story.
And we're gonna get into that in terms of NBA All-Star Weekend. But I think we can all, put a bow on this and just say, obviously, we're all supporters of whatever types of, social justices or whatever you want to call them in terms of, I don't know the proper terminology, but no one should ever judge Dwyane Wade's child or any other person who has these sorts of thoughts or feelings or whatever it is. So we're all, open book.
The Memo is an open place.
Yes.
Yeah.
We accept all at all times, unless you are a Clippers fan.
I saw that coming.
John Luca.
So we can get into, to transition into a more sportsy topic here. And this will be the last headline until we will go into our segments. But I know Richard was really asking me a lot about this, and he wanted to talk about it. Manchester City soccer.
Yeah, bro.
I don't know how much the two of you know about what happened here, but it is a very big topic and something that's worth acknowledging. Manchester City Football Club, they were suspended 2 years from the Champions League due to financial fair play regulations and basically, I mean, like they broke a lot of rules in terms of, financials and how they're spending their money on how they're getting their players. And I think it's honestly, this was the biggest punishment I've ever seen in European soccer. And then I don't know in terms of what you guys know about it or what you think about it, or I think it was a landmark moment in professional soccer that's going to change the landscape of the sport for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know that much about it. I just know I got the lowdown from you. But seems crazy. The Champions League is it's the most prestigious thing in all of soccer, right?
Yes.
Club soccer, at least. Yes. Besides the World Cup.
It's the World Cup of club soccer.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy, especially for a team that's as good as Manchester City is. But besides that, I don't really follow soccer. But according to you, this punishment was fair, which...
I mean, I don't know if it. That's the thing. It was the biggest punishment that I've ever seen been given down. So I don't know how fair it was. I don't know how egregious. Their violations were. But it's a big. Can you
speak a little to what exactly the violation was?
Yeah. So I had a lot of people asking me, and I know that there are some people who are unsure about it, like our co-host Richard Lyons.
I know all about it.
And basically,
you told me already. I know.
The Champions League itself is, you have like divisions in the NFL, like
yes.
all these divisions, and then they go to the playoffs. So the Champions League is basically like, you have a league in France, in England, in Spain, Italy, like all of the European countries. They all have their own league. And the winners of those leagues go to the Champions League. So it's like the best of the best.
Okay.
Depending on how good your league is, you get a certain amount of teams.
Yes. So like in England, the Premier League, it's like the best league in Europe. They get 4 entries. So like you have to come top 4, Italy top 4, like France top 3. Like it's all like spaced out like that. So there's like 32 teams in the Champions League every year, and it's basically like a high honor. It's like the best of the best to go to that league. And Manchester City is one of the best teams in the world. They're in the Premier League. They've won the Premier League the past 2 seasons. And they now have gotten busted for financial fair play, it's called, where it's basically financials, because you don't have like a salary cap in soccer. There's no money limit involved. It's a percentage of how much you make off of sponsorships.
And so these sponsorships come from where? Like
all of what they have on their jerseys, like Manchester, it was the Etihad is what it's called. Like it's a Saudi Arabian airline.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where all of the money is coming from. They made about $8 million a year from that sponsorship, but they wrote in their books that they made like $40 million a year. And what really happened was the owner of Manchester City was just putting his own money, because he's a billionaire himself. He's putting his own money into that sponsorship deal, and they were getting the best players in the world. Their roster is stacked. Their payroll is like probably the highest in Europe.
So you get a percentage of that $40 million to spend on players?
I think. Well, no, that's just one sponsorship.
Oh,
so like they have them all over. Like they make about like $300 million.
Okay.
Combined from everything. But yeah, it's basically like how much you bring in is how much you're supposed to spend. But when everybody is a billionaire owner, they're all just putting their own. And that's the thing too. It's not just Manchester City. Everybody's doing.
I was gonna say, is this like a case of everyone's doing the same thing? Maybe they just went far and away. Like if you're saying $8 million and they're writing $40 million, like that's really a
it's egregious
lie. Like
and soccer's known to be like pretty corrupt.
Yeah, it's so corrupt.
I think that seems like a fair punishment. What is it? 2 years? You said
2 years.
You're literally, and the fact that they're getting the best players in the world, like it's just not fair at all. Like you have a better chance to get these players because you're already good, and you're lying about the amount of money you can spend.
Yeah, they were dominating the league for years.
So is the rule fair though?
It is. The rule is fair. The problem is that the corruption that's within soccer itself, they don't enforce it. Like they pick and choose when they want to enforce it. So Manchester City is not the only team that's going through this.
You have to think that like UEFA is corrupt too.
Of course. Yeah, no, of course. They're all just like, I think honestly what's going to happen is Manchester City is going to pay off UEFA, get the suspension reduced in half. Maybe they're suspended for 1 year. But it wouldn't surprise me if they get off of it. Either that or they're going to crack down on everybody and decide that like we're not going to do this anymore. Start playing by the rules.
Not going to happen.
Which I'd be surprised if that happened. But
so why are they going after? Are they just going after the biggest team as sort of an example?
That's what I think, because it's so weird, because for years it's been like everybody knows that financial fair play is what it's called, which is basically like salary cap. Like that's what it's called.
Okay.
And everybody, like from the French leagues and the Italian leagues, PSG, Juventus, like they knew that they were breaking these rules. Every time they'd make a signing, they'd be like, how is that possible? Like they're doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. And then UEFA would never do anything. But so I think they're either trying to put a stop to it or they're just trying to get more money.
Relate it to the cheating scandal that's going on in our country. All these baseball players seem to be absolutely furious with the Astros players and calling them out, saying they're basically scumbags. In the soccer world, are these players like being looked at in that same light, like kind of like fuck you, we're all signing on the same team and like dominating all the time? And
no, it's definitely different, because this is it's just like the owner of the team.
Okay.
And like the players, they're not like keeping tabs on the financials and shit, you know? Like it's like if the Astros were just like going over the salary cap to sign players.
And I feel like in Europe the corruption is probably way more just accepted.
It's normalized.
They probably got a worse penalty than the Astros did.
Oh.
Yeah, by far.
Of course, dude. It's literally a 2-year postseason ban. A team like Manchester City, all they care about is the Champions League.
Yeah.
Like they've won Europe, like they've won England 2 years in a row.
So they're just gonna play the season now and then not count.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
just gonna be the next.
Yeah, because the top 4 teams make it. So if they come in second, then like the 5th team will get it. And that's why it's crazy because the Champions League is going on right now this year. So they better win this year or else they're fucked.
Oh, so they get to play this year.
They're because it's like the middle of the tournament this year, so they have to win.
That's pretty hilarious. If they win.
If they win, they just be like, fuck you
guys. They wouldn't care, right?
No, they wouldn't care. It's so worth it.
Have they won the Champions League recently?
Nope. I don't think they've ever won. They were a bad team. Like Manchester United was the team forever.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, they're and then Man City came in out of nowhere. They have the best coach in the world.
Do they still have Aguero?
Yeah.
He's a king.
He's got the blonde hair.
Who the fuck's that?
You know what?
Taking
Sergio
after
Aguero.
Brodsky.
What team is
You don't know what. You
Teams-
couldn't name 2 soccer
I know he's
players.
Brazilian.
Neymar.
Is he just on Brazil or is there
He's
like
on PSG. He
what's
plays
that?
for Paris in France.
All these
Boss.
players play for.
They all have
both
their own
European
country, and then they play in any European team. Like
Is he a top guy still?
Yes. He's
The ones that
one
will
of
pay him
he's
the most.
Probably the 3rd best player in the world.
Wow, boss.
They lost today though. PSG in the Champions League, they lost.
They're out.
No,
Are
it's
are
aggregate, you know
Ronaldo
what
and
I mean?
Messi still
It's like I know.
1 and 2?
Yes, and then Neymar is 3rd, probably.
How old are they now?
Messi and Ronaldo. Ronaldo, I think, is like 37.
And he's still nasty.
Yeah.
How?
Is
They're
he still on
nuts.
Real Madrid?
No, he's on Juventus.
Oh right.
Now.
They
Are
just
they
don't.
good or no?
They just don't get worse when they get older.
They're good. They've won the Italian league like 10 years in a row. But they always, and that's a question that our good friend Hector Silva asked about him going to Juventus, but they're good. Juventus, they just can't win in Europe.
Well, the Italian league's pretty bad, right, compared to other leagues.
It's been on a down spell. The Spanish league is the best one in Spain, and then probably the Premier League. But I mean, it's different every year. But we'll talk a little bit more soccer in a little bit because
I do find it interesting. I don't
it's
really
just
follow it.
It's so unique and like not what we're used to in American sports.
I mean, I'm relating this back to me. I think American sports should model themselves after. I mean, besides the corruption, I think it's cool that like the good teams are just like the good teams because they are good and like that's it.
But it all has to do with money, though, and it's like soccer is so top heavy.
Yeah,
It's good
it's
and
kind
bad
of cool.
because there's like the Premier League. There's 20 teams in the league every year, but there's the Big Five that they call them, and they literally finish top 5 every single year. They're like in their own league. It's just the 5 of them.
Can I guess them?
Yeah,
Chelsea,
yeah.
Liverpool,
It's 6. It's 6 of them. Okay, Liverpool,
Manchester City, Manchester United, Arsenal. Damn, who's the last one? Who am I forgetting?
Give me a Rich.
I have no idea what another name would be.
Did you know all of those 5 ones?
I know City and United, and I knew Liverpool.
Chelsea, Arsenal.
I've like recognized the names, but I wouldn't have guessed them.
Harry Kane is on the team. He's a great player. Starts with a T.
Tottenham.
There you go.
I was gonna
There you go.
I was gonna say them, but I thought they were not good enough.
They're like the 6th team,
They're like the
but they're good. They were in the Champions League final last year. All right. Well, let me tell you.
Spurs.
Yeah. This isn't a soccer podcast, so let's
You really try to make it one.
let's move on. I was being asked questions on
Alright.
all angles.
Well, since we were just talking about the
interested.
format
It's great.
of the European Soccer League, let's talk about something Alex has been pretty against in the past, which is opposite format with the draft and Joe Burrow.
Oh, right. Yes.
Ah.
Okay.
Because
so
the
this
soccer, you
was
can
the
just sign
last
whoever you
headline.
want, right? It's like you choose wherever you go.
Yeah, it is. There's no draft or anything. So, okay. I want to combine this with a question that we had last week from this kid is actually our number 1 listener.
Spence Ing.
No, Besides Spencing, he's our boy.
Shout out
Disrespect
Spencing.
Spence.
No, Julian Pereira.
Who's disrespecting?
Julian.
Calling
I forgot. Okay. Julian Pereira. His question, and we got a lot of leftover questions from last week that we're going to get to tonight, but this was worthy enough of its own topic because of the news that came out today. So the question is, now that Joe Burrow, now that the Bengals have announced that they're hearing offers for the Burrow pick, what's the best landing spot for Burrow, and who has the real capital to get the pick? So that's what Julian asked, and we're going to couple it with the fact that the news came out today that Burrow, what do you say, all of a sudden that he's looking, he doesn't want to go to the Bengals?
He didn't say that. He didn't say, I don't want to play for the Bengals. He just said, something about I have leverage, and, they're going to feel out the process, and if they don't, one side doesn't like the other side, whatever. He basically said, I have the leverage. He never said, I don't want to play for Cincinnati.
He doesn't have leverage, though.
No, he doesn't. He's an idiot.
He could pull an Eli.
Yeah, if he wants. If he's a soft.
But it's not unprecedented.
Yeah.
But do the Bengals, have they been listening to offers for the pick? That's what Julian said that now.
Maybe. Everyone said last year, who was Murray. The Cardinals were not shopping around, but listening to offers. Everyone listens to offers. It doesn't mean anything. It's just to make a headline that makes it seem like they're looking to trade the pick.
What would you want if you were the Bengals and somebody wanted the first round pick, first overall pick,
a franchise quarterback,
quarterback. The Dolphins have multiple firsts this year, but I don't think they would want to. I don't think they'd want to trade down all the way to 5.
Boys.
They're terrible.
Because if I'm not getting Joe Burrow, number 1 overall...
Why wouldn't they want Joe Burrow? That's why I would just never trade the pick.
They won't trade the pick. So I'm just... You said who could trade up for them.
But the Chargers didn't trade the pick either.
That's a good point. What if Burrow, demands he's not playing for the Bengals? Then what's the price worth?
They wait for Tua to get drafted and trade with whoever drafts Tua.
And they would have no leverage. It would just have to be 1-for-1.
Yeah.
But also, can't you call Burrow's bluff? Be like, what do you mean? You're just not going to play football?
You can, but then you risk him holding out.
Is he not going to play football for 4 years?
Is that what it means? What is the punt?
I don't think you
Can't you just choose not to sign with the team?
Yeah, but then if you want to play in the NFL, you have to play with the team that drafted you. I think by within a certain amount of years.
When would you be able to just be a free agent?
I would assume the next season, but that's a pretty big assumption.
Wouldn't that happen more often then?
Do players want to sit doing nothing for a full year?
I don't think Joe Burrow would want to do that. He's already 23?
Yeah, he was.
And at that point, the Bengals would just be like, "All right, fine, give me Tua."
That's true. They would just take Tua.
But
what the Chargers did.
But that would work in Burrow's favor then.
Yes,
but he does
have leverage.
He still doesn't get to pick the team he plays for. What if he doesn't want to play for Miami or whoever?
Is Miami that better?
This is exactly what Eli Manning did.
But he wanted to play in New York.
But yeah, and the whole San Diego thing was the GM and the owner, they didn't like the front office. It wasn't about the in-game situation, which I've heard that the Bengals front office is terrible too. But the Dolphins,
he's also from Ohio.
Right. But that's not playing in his favor apparently.
No. If I had to put money on it, I'd say he probably ends up playing for the Bengals.
Yeah,
and
he's going
to. This isn't something we haven't seen before.
He never said he didn't want to play for them, so it's obviously being blown up. And if he does pull that, then he's soft, and he's gonna wear a Big Dick Joe hat, and they're not good enough for me. I don't want to go there. I might not be good.
Big Dick Joe.
Looking back in hindsight, Eli Manning made a really good decision.
Did he?
Shut up.
What?
He did make a good decision because he gave the Chargers.
Don't bring your emotion into this.
Better quarterback.
And he won 2 Super Bowls.
What team?
You can't say he made a good decision though.
He played for a better organization.
But you don't know.
Okay.
Like you have to have the alternative universe of what would have happened.
No,
I'm just
like, I don't think Eli Manning changes the Chargers organization. I think they're a bad organization, and the Giants.
Phillip Rivers wins 4 rings with the Giants.
But that has nothing to do with it.
That's not what he's talking about. But
Eli Manning made a good decision.
Eli Manning was lucky the Giants were in the position to be to be able to trade for him after.
The Giants were drafting. They weren't drafting second.
They were drafting top 3 or 4 though. No,
I think they were drafting 4th.
Okay, but what now? That's the thing. The Giants.
Were the Giants drafting second?
4th, I think.
Okay, so now the Giants, who were a pretty good organization at the time, are in position to draft the other quarterback, Phillip Rivers, and trade for him. The top 5 this year are the Redskins and the Lions and the Dolphins and all these terrible organizations who are going to be in position to pick Tua. So he's still going to go some. It's not like he can get his way onto the Steelers or one of these like elite teams.
Yeah, but he might just not want to play for the Bengals. I do think it's definitely blown out of proportion. He said like one sentence, but
I think he was dumb to say that too. Who does he think he is?
I don't know what he means by it. I just don't get it. Like, why would you say
you know what?
have leverage?
It would only be smart if he has this whole plan.
Right
If
now,
he doesn't,
otherwise
he's just
it's
an
like,
idiot.
why? He
reminds me of Mayfield. He's got this tough guy
Stop
act.
with
Thinks he's
that.
better than everyone already.
No.
Yes, he does.
Come on, he's
Yes,
not
he
like
does.
that.
Yes, he is.
Except he
He
fucking
doesn't talk
thrashed
like that.
every
Yeah,
team
except he
played.
delivered on what he said he
Baker
would do.
Mayfield thrashed teams too.
Didn't win
He
no
did not
college
have the
championship.
greatest college football season of all time.
He had one of the best seasons
No,
ever.
he didn't. He made the
was
playoffs
amazing.
and lost in the first round.
All right, they
Got
weren't as good as
creamed.
LSU.
No, Burrow.
He was just as good. He
Burrow's
was
a
the first
better-
overall pick too. Oh,
Burrow's
so
a
better
much better.
prospect.
He's
Burrow
also
is
85
better.
years old.
Burrow is.
But you're saying it's blown
So
out of
this is where
proportion.
we're starting here because he's already 23. His career's over.
I think Baker Mayfield's good. I think he has just
No,
his
but
attitude is a problem.
Okay, so
Okay,
Burrow
we
is.
don't need to make this about Baker Mayfield.
That's what I'm saying. Burrow is better than Baker was coming out of college.
Is he better? Baker
He
put up
is better.
more,
No, he
more
didn't.
years
He's a
of
better
No,
prospect.
No,
He is.
Yes, he did.
Burrow
he had more
had
years
the
of good
greatest
play.
fucking year of a college quarterback ever.
His team was stacked.
Okay, no, that's not true.
It's not true.
Who was
is it?
Baker's quarterback?
was
Wide
his
receivers.
quarterback?
Wide
Baker
receivers.
Mayfield.
Wide receivers those years.
I couldn't name them.
Who were LSU's wide receivers?
They had that guy you said last week. That's
that
the number
guy.
one
That
receiver
guy.
in the country.
Oklahoma had that guy also.
Who? To say the names.
That guy. So you don't know them. So how can you decide?
I'm
who's
going
better?
off what you were saying. You said they had the best receiver in the country. He was an underclassman.
Yes. He's very good.
And from everything we've been talking about, everyone says LSU is one of the most stacked college football teams
Because
of all
of Joe
time, with
Burrow.
5 first-round picks, 10 in the
Because
next
of
2
Joe
years.
Burrow. Okay, so Joe Burrow he had a better year than Baker
Okay,
Mayfield.
he had one better year.
He had a better
He's
year.
more hyped up
and
than Baker
he's
Mayfield.
not as much as
Yes, he's more hyped up. They won the championship, and he wore the big dick hat, so everyone thinks he's the best.
So
No,
that's
he's the
what
best.
it's all
That's
about.
not
He wore a
why.
big dick hat, and you don't like him because of that.
That's not why I didn't
That's
say I don't
why-
like him.
yes,
I
that's
said
why
his
it is.
attitude could be a problem.
He doesn't have an attitude.
He doesn't really have an attitude.
He's got a. I think I'm better than everyone already.
He is.
Yeah, he should.
He's not better than any one of these NFL teams
He's never
yet.
said
No,
anything
never
about the
played in the
NFL.
NFL.
It's different though because Baker thought he already had a Super Bowl when he got drafted,
He
and
do-
when the Browns
what is-
won
what
like
is-
6 games, he was like, "Yeah, we're the team to beat here." Like Burrow just like hasn't really said
Burrow,
shit yet.
dude, he's very quiet. Like Baker, it was a loudmouth. Like
Okay, maybe he's a
celebrity
little
I agree,
louder.
I'm the
shit.
biggest Baker hater, and if he was anything like Baker, I'd be all over it.
Maybe
Burrow
Baker's a
just
little
plays
more in your
football.
face.
He really
but
just he doesn't talk much. He just
He's
plays
nasty
football,
too.
and he plays football. He kills it, and then he says, "I know I'm good," and because I'm showing it.
But he did,
And that's
did
it.
He even say that?
No, whatever you got,
Oh, with the big dick thing?
Yeah, no. You
Like,
argued
kids
with me
having
about
fun.
being humble and the whole Heisman speech or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that speech makes him humble. I think
Okay,
he
but
like
you
there's
said-
a lot of really good not
You-
humble players.
Right, but before the Heisman speech and in the national championship, you said you were like, I can't wait till Burrow fucking loses, and then like,
I said it
all
would've
I
been-
want is for
yeah.
him to fucking be bad. Whatever.
And then
Oh,
I
whoa,
watched
whoa,
him
okay,
play,
well,
and
then
he was
don't-
incredible.
Yeah, that game was ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, I didn't say he wasn't good.
But now, like, he realizing he doesn't really say anything. He's just a confident number one overall
I don't
pick,
think he's
the
anything
best
like
quarterback in
Baker.
the fucking country right now. As a college player, yes.
Tua's better.
Listen, I hope so.
From this conversation,
he's gonna be.
What?
Richard will always. hope
Yeah,
for
now
Joe
you're
Burrow's
anti-Burrow
downfall.
now. All of a sudden,
I'm not anything Burrow.
that's obvious. Yeah.
Come on.
You're labeled for life now. Anti-Burrow.
I said I wasn't anti-Baker too.
I'm not anti-Baker either. I think he's good.
I believe that. I know you don't hate.
I think he's
Baker.
annoying, but
So that's our Joe Burrow piece.
I think he's a bitch if he demands a trade.
I don't think he's demanding a trade.
I don't think he is either.
He's not, and I have been saying he didn't say that, so I'm not. Like,
Richard's like, let's not overreact to this. I think he's not gonna do shit.
He's like, he'll never make it in the NFL.
he can be good. It's just like,
gonna be
you're
great.
gonna draft him first overall, and he has 4 years left of his career?
You wouldn't if you're the Bengals, you wouldn't take him number one overall.
You got Justin
What happened
Herbert
to
on the
Tua?
board
Don't Herbert me.
Are people sleeping on Tua?
because he hurt his hip.
Herbert me.
All of a sudden, Tua's not good.
Ooh, hip. You don't like to see that.
No, I understand why Burrow's the number one, but Tua's better.
What would you do if you were the Bengals?
I'd pick Chase Young.
Dayton gonna let these
Run it back with the
hang
red
around
rifle.
here?
Stop. They're winning. I have money line. They just have to win the game.
Can't put the foot on the neck.
If I was the
17
Bengals, I'd
minutes
trade
left.
for Embiid.
Shut up.
All right, let's go on to something different.
All right. We'll start the stamp shreds now. An hour
What
and
was
a half
that?
into the podcast.
Wasn't that one of the stamp shreds?
No. That was a question. That
Wasn't
we answered.
didn't
No, it
you
was a
have
stamp
a stamp shred that was related to Joe Burrow that you were gonna
No, it was
morph
a
with the question?
It was a question and a headline that we had. Did you stamp or shred anything?
I thought that's what it was supposed to be.
Did any of us stamp anything?
Move on.
Okay. So we're going to stamp or shred now. We're going to get into some professional sports. In the
We didn't talk about
United
professional
States of
football
America.
teams for another just
Professional
10 minutes or so.
NASCAR drivers.
I thought we talked college for a lot.
We
We talked college and we talked European sports.
Did we not talk about multiple NFL teams in that conversation?
Is he kidding
Do you
me?
not have a
Is he kidding me?
nicotine
We're
stick?
literally talking about the NFL
I
draft.
don't
Wow.
have one.
You can leave now.
All right. What's the stamp shred? Go ahead.
You're gonna ask me something about the All-Stars trying hard.
Okay. So our first stamp or shred that we've done in a couple weeks, it is the new NBA All-Star game is good for the NBA. Stamp or shred.
The
The new
format.
All-Star format is better off for the NBA. Stamp or shred. You fucking get what it. You get
Yeah,
what I'm
they
saying.
actually played hard.
So you stamp it.
Yeah, it was entertaining at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining at the end. I don't know how much it really moves the needle on anything. It's one game where all the best players try for one quarter. It was interesting how they were winning for the charities. Like, I think that's a cool aspect of it. And then the whole
didn't even know
24
that.
thing. Each quarter you're playing for a charity. And then, like, obviously there's the winner. I like the whole 24 thing, like playing to a number so that it always ends on like a game winner or something.
Isn't it a little weird for you're playing for charities and it's like one charity against another? Like the charity that wins, and then you just have an entirely other charity that just like loses.
Wait, I didn't know that's how it works.
Isn't it like, because I remember
maybe
at
they
the
all
end,
get something. Maybe
you know, at the end where it was like all the Team Giannis shirts and all the Team LeBron
Yes.
shirts, and it's like they're all like super hyped in the crowd, and then LeBron wins, and like they're going crazy, and then you have like just Team Giannis, who like they probably deserve some fucking
I'm
charity
sure
work.
I bet it's like
and
this
they're all
one
just,
maybe
like-
gets more, you know.
That's pretty funny.
It was like it's funny and it's sad. It was just like because they do the charities each quarter, where like the winning team gets to pick their charity.
Right.
Shouldn't they all just like? There's
know
enough
what they're
money in
doing.
the NBA to just.
I'm sure they all.
I'm sure there
they
is
don't
some
go
other
home fucking empty-handed.
Damn it! We gotta wait till next year.
Oh, fuck, we have to pay for our flights too.
No, they definitely get
It was
free
just
tickets
weird.
to the game.
But that's not. You want the charity to like.
It was
I'm
probably
sure they
lit to be
donate
there.
to the charity.
I hope so. I hope they do that. But so you're stamping the new format. You like it?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know, but I don't think it's
Honestly,
good or bad for
yeah,
NBA.
for
It's just
3
better, I guess
quarters, I didn't pay attention,
yeah.
and then
I don't like
for
it.
the last one, why?
I don't like it. I don't think that they should be playing like that.
You don't think they should be playing hard?
No.
So you're
what's the
mad that
point
they
of
played
having it?
hard.
Yes. What?
Then at that point, what's the
No,
point?
So
Why do they have the All-Star game? You
So-
don't want them to have the
because
All-Star
it's
game?
like a joke. It's just like a nice like showcase of the best players in the league. Like,
But
like,
it's
what
not
if,
a
like,
showcase if they're not playing hard.
No, but okay. So you have the best players in the world. It's gonna be great until like Joel Embiid fucking tears his ACL. 'Cause
Okay,
he's, like,
what
going
about-
too
Don't
hard.
play in it.
What if
That-
okay?
dude.
What if that Thursday they play the Hawks and then he tears his ACL?
Okay, at
Could
least
have-
you did it in a meaningful game and
Yeah,
meant
that-
something.
And you can
First
get
You're not
hurt.
just
You can
gonna
get
sit
hurt
out.
not trying. It's almost you can get you're at more risk to get hurt if you're
Why
not
don't they?
trying.
So why don't they tackle each other in the Pro Bowl?
What do you
Because they're
mean?
playing
Why don't
football.
they check each other in hockey in the All Star game?
It's
because
no one
nobody-
watches
nobody
hockey.
much
wants
more
to get
physical
hurt.
sports than
No,
basketball.
No, but
They
they
do-
Football's not
they-
more physical than basketball.
No.
What do you mean? They do
No.
tackle each other in the
because
Pro Bowl.
you saw how passive it was in the first 3 quarters, and then how much more physical it was in the fourth quarter.
But football's, you're saying why don't the reason they don't run full speed in the Pro Bowl is because it's much easier to get hurt in football than basketball.
But
And
people get hurt
The Pro
all
Bowl,
the
season's
time.
over.
In anything, doing anything. Fucking guy in
at
the Mets
least-
got hurt by a pig. You can get hurt anywhere at any time.
And
But
you're
if
not
you
you're
get-
not at less of a risk of getting hurt if you're not trying.
Richard, if Anthony Davis, God forbid, tore his ACL in that All-Star game,
It would suck.
would you be pissed that he was playing in the All-Star game?
No.
That's bullshit. Of course you
no,
would.
I wouldn't.
You'd be like, why
I'd
is
be
he
like-
going
it's
so
like, dude,
hard?
they fucking
it's like
play in the All-Star
standard
game every
run-of-the-mill,
year.
Like,
No,
it's,
but-
it's just run-of-the-mill shit.
No, but it's not run-of-the-mill shit because the way that they were playing
Dude,
as
they're playing,
hard as
they
you
play
could.
basketball all year round.
But
Like,
if you tear
you
your
can get hurt
ACL
at any
against
time.
the
You
Hawks,
can get hurt playing at pickup at the gym.
but they don't. But okay, if
Yeah,
he
they
did
do
that,
that.
if he did that, you'd be pissed.
No, I wouldn't. They have to play the sport.
No,
It would suck. It'd be like, fuck, okay, you got
No,
hurt then, but like
no.
that's just what they do.
no.
If-
wouldn't be a reason to be like they should change the format of the
So-
All-Star game.
But they didn't need to change the format of the
They
All-Star
want to
game.
make it more interesting.
Yo, you're crazy.
You think the
yo.
four-
if,
okay.
if LeBron tore his ACL
First of
against
all, I
the
don't think-
Hawks in a regular season game,
It's his fault.
that's like shit. Like he's playing the
it's
season.
It's
it
his fault
happens.
if he gets hurt in the All-Star game because he has the right to not play in it.
Okay, that's fine. But they
It's
think
not the
that they're
fault of the NBA.
No, it's not the NBA's responsibility. It's the players that want to go in and play, but they're also the ones that are going to go like extra hard and try to win the game. Like if you have LeBron like the last play
So
of the
then
game,
they shouldn't do the All-Star game.
No, you do the All-Star
No,
game
because
like
they
you
can
did it
get-
for the past 20
they're
years.
not
Where it's
gonna-
like a
there's-
joke. The first 3 quarters.
How much
the
more of a
NBA's
risk is it?
job is to market like the league.
Yo, you're
So-
crazy, dude. If you're saying this now because it hasn't happened, if the best
And
player
now-
on your team got hurt in the All-Star game,
Now-
you would be
it would
so
suck.
Now-
pissed.
I would be
Yes,
pissed.
Like, why the fuck
obviously
is he
you
playing
get
in
you
the
get pissed
game?
in any situation. But
No,
listen to me for a second. Now, especially now that we've seen one of these All-Star games with a different format, every player knows that if it's close at the fourth quarter, people are going to be going hard. If you can't do that, then sit out. If you can and you're willing to accept the risk, then go play. And then if you get
That's
hurt,
not-
then so be it.
no, that's not
Dude,
that's not the
I can't-
point.
Like,
though.
What's
why
your point?
are
I don't
people
understand
worrying
your
about
point.
professional athletes playing hard? It
Because
doesn't
it's
fucking matter.
It's in a game that doesn't mean anything, dude. What
But
are you
they can get
talking
hurt
about?
any time doing.
But at least if
they can
you're-
get hurt in practice.
Okay, but that's like you're going towards something. Like if you get hurt in a game against the Pacers, like that's the sport. You
Then
might
don't
get
play.
hurt.
But they can get
You
hurt in
have
the
to
off
play.
season.
Okay,
DeMarcus Cousins tore his ACL working out and playing.
But it wasn't just he was trying to play the game, like he was getting
could have
better.
been fucking around. Who knows?
Okay, okay, it's just like an unnecessary thing.
But then they shouldn't have it if
John
they're just
Wall
not
fucking
going to try.
Ruined his entire career in his house.
Dude, it's so different.
I don't get what your point is,
because
it's that you don't need you saw the game that they were playing.
Okay.
You don't need Giannis jumping from the foul line to try to block LeBron in a meaningless game. If he fucking tears his meniscus, is it worth it?
He has the right to sit out. It's the NBA's job to say, all right, let's put together something that's going to be fun.
I'm not blaming it on the NBA or the players. I'm just saying that
it
doesn't need to be that serious. It shouldn't be that serious.
It's every player's right.
It's gonna be great.
It's every player's right to make it as serious as they want to. So Damian Lillard got hurt and said, I'm not playing in this shit. And I'm sure he's not that hurt.
So you don't think these professional athletes can just handle 10 minutes of playing hard?
No, you can get hurt any minute of the game. Paul George fucking snapped his leg in half.
So then they shouldn't play in the game. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that
they can get hurt in the game whether they're trying or not. So if they get hurt in the All-Star game, then you'd still be pissed whether they were trying or not. So then they shouldn't play. You don't want the All-Star game.
No, but if you're gonna go in it, you should play like
you
go light, you go easy, like the first 3 quarters of the game.
Why would I watch it? And why would they put it on?
You don't have to watch it. I'm saying it's super.
So
it was very
it's more of a waste if they're going to do that, it's more of a waste of time and you could still risk getting hurt if they're just going to lollygag and do nothing. So don't have it.
That's fine.
Just as much of a risk.
I'd rather not have it than it be a real game.
I don't know anything about this, but I think it's just as much of a risk to be out there lollygagging, fucking around.
Not when everybody is doing it.
No.
They say that in football where it's like, oh, if you're not going 100%, you're going to get hurt. Not if everybody on the court is going soft and they're all protecting themselves and it's easy.
Basketball, everyone's making contact too. It's like it's a physical game.
It's not a showcase of the best players in the league. If like in the first, second, and third quarter, it's literally just guys. First person to touch the ball on the other side of the court just has a wide open lane to dunk. Of course it is.
That's what it's been for the past 30 years.
That's not a showcase.
That's why nobody watches it.
That's why it sucks.
Fine. So you don't have to watch it.
Okay, so then it shouldn't exist.
I'd rather not watch it than have. If I was a 76ers fan, a diehard Sixers fan, and I'm watching Joel Embiid, who's injury prone, go as hard as he can because whatever pride that they have. You shouldn't want him to play
at all.
I agree with you.
So then why do you want the All-Star game?
Because there's something to be said about limiting risk. If I have Joel Embiid going against Giannis in a game where it doesn't matter, and and obviously his competitive spirit is not going to think in his mind that he's going to get hurt. He's going to fucking tear his ACL. Somebody's going to get hurt.
And you're also thinking about this from a pure competition standpoint where it's like
that's what a fan would think.
But
it's not the NBA's responsibility to do that.
Or the players. The players want to go and play and market themselves and have moments and all that shit.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And they have every right to do it. And they have the right to sit out too if their values are there. So it's on the players.
That's what I'm saying. It's not anybody's responsibility. It's on the players to not play. It's not on the NBA to protect them from playing. It just seems like it was a great idea this year.
It is a great idea.
Everybody loved it.
More entertaining.
Down the line, somebody's gonna get hurt, and they're gonna reevaluate the whole thing. Cry. They're gonna reevaluate the whole thing.
No, they're just gonna be like, if you want to sit out, you can sit out. But we need to make.
I don't think the format made them try hard.
Richard, do you want Sam Darnold to play 4 straight games in the preseason? Do you want him to play every game?
No.
Why not?
That's so much different.
Why?
Completely different.
Because he's playing against irrelevant players and not going to the All-Star game to play with the best of the best and be shown with the best in front of on national TV.
But it's okay. So wouldn't you want him to play in the preseason and get as much game reps as he can?
I would want him to play what they normally do.
Let's make the situations comparable.
Why doesn't he play though?
Let's make this.
He does play.
But
that's not a comparable situation at all.
He doesn't play,
Let's make
so
the
he doesn't get
situations
hurt.
comparable.
That's not why.
That is the reason that they don't play. 100%.
Okay, but let's make the situations comparable and say there's a mid-season NFL Pro Bowl, If Sam Darnold wanted to play in it, he has every right to do that.
Of course.
Or he could sit out like a lot of players do
That's
in the Pro
not what
Bowl.
I'm saying. I'm not saying whose right it is to do what. If Sam Darnold was playing in the mid-season Pro Bowl and the Jets were 10-1,
I didn't say I would want
you want it?
It would suck. I would hate it.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm
in
saying
the long run, it's not worth it.
Okay, so then that's what I'm saying. So you think they shouldn't have an All-Star game?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah, what the fuck? Just give them the honor of it. Don't play in the game. Or play in the game and have it protected.
My point is they can get hurt literally anytime doing anything, and like it's not meaningless. It's for the literal game that they are supporting and trying to get people to tune into.
And they like playing it.
People are tuning in. People are tuning in already.
Aren't the ratings down?
You think that All-Star game is bringing the ratings
No,
back
it's
up
not.
for the
It's
Denver
irrelevant.
Nuggets fucking
And I also I don't
Pistons
think
game?
Like the 1988 All-Star game is one of like the classic moments in like NBA
I don't
history.
think the format made them try hard.
Like these players want to be a part of
I
these
think
moments.
what happened was it was the first game after what happened with Kobe, and it just like was running high. Everyone wants to win that first one. It's like the tributes everywhere for him. It's the fourth quarter.
Fair.
And I think it'll each year it'll probably just be just like the regular All-Star game always is.
No, I don't agree with the last point you made. I think everybody was certainly trying harder because of Kobe and the fact that it was a close game. But I also think that the way that the rules were created, it creates a closer game. Just the way that it naturally cultivates like a more competitive game in the fourth quarter.
Like what if next year Team LeBron's up by 20 in the fourth? So then they're not going to try in the fourth quarter.
Okay,
and then when it was the other format, when it was a close game, they would try at the end.
Yes, but you have
so
an
it was the
entire
same thing.
I think Matt's actually right.
You have an
about that.
entire quarter that's not timed.
Because in the fourth
what
quarter,
if they were up by 20 this year?
In the fourth
they
quarter,
probably wouldn't have tried as hard in the fourth quarter if they did.
No. I think Matt's right because in the fourth quarter there's a target score, and whoever's down by 20 is just going to go that much harder. And if the other team's not trying, then they're just going to win, then it's going to end up being close.
The point that there's no clock at the end, like that's a big deal. It's just like street, like just tee them up and stop them from scoring.
I think it's good. And
I think it's different though when you realize how hard. I'm sorry. I think it's different when you realize how hard you have to go down 20 than when you're going in with a score that close. Like, we can win this and go back and forth. Like,
but that has nothing to do with.
They think they're gonna go all out to catch up and score 44 points.
They also know that the other team's not trying.
But that also is just completely circumstantial.
But you don't know. Trying for a little bit, like they could be. But people are gonna really try that hard down 20.
But that's super circumstantial. That like you're just hoping that year they might be down by 20. It could be close every year. You're just assuming that they're down by 20 one year, and then it won't matter.
And also the rest.
Because they try hard in the other close games too in the All-Star game. When it's close in the fourth, they've tried hard. And they fucking doubled Steph Curry in the corner. And
so you think that
smothering him?
So you
they
think
could have gotten hurt there? They could have torn their ACL.
So this year's All-Star game was the same as every other year. This was the same thing as every other year when it might be close in the last 2 minutes.
There was also an emotional reason for them to be going hard.
Dude, the way that the game was designed was for it to be close and competitive in the fourth quarter. And it was executed perfectly.
Yeah, they did it.
Okay,
I think
so
it'll lose its luster.
Because like Curry had the last shot with 30 seconds left. It happened to be close.
They were trying hard. It's just that's your issue. Your issue is that they're trying hard. Your issue is that they try hard at any point in the All-Star game. And they did that in previous ones all the time. At one point in the fourth quarter, if it was close, they tried hard.
So why'd they change the entire rules of the game if that they did it already? They had the close quarters already because Curry had 1 second shot.
So I bet you if Kobe died, they would have done the same exact thing.
Yes.
Score 24 in the fourth.
Not 24. It would have been a different target number because Chris Paul said that they were working on a more competitive All-Star game, and then when Kobe passed away, 24 made sense for the target number. They said that. They didn't just come up with that in 3 days.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I still think it doesn't doesn't matter.
Okay, dude. If Sam, I'm bringing it back to Sam Darnold.
Okay, so if he got hurt, it would suck in the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Would it be worth it?
No, I'm not saying I like the All-Star game.
So wouldn't you rather not have the All-Star game than have
Yes,
your
I
your
would
fucking
rather not
favorite
have
team's
it. But if they're gonna
quarterback?
try, I'm not gonna be like more pissed. They could have they could have gotten hurt doing anything. They're just playing basketball. If they get hurt playing basketball, what they do every single day of their lives.
But if you
It's
have it
essentially
going towards a purpose,
They've tried hard.
practice.
But why isn't the All-Star game a purpose?
Because
Why isn't it practice?
What does it accomplish?
Yeah, exactly. They're playing basketball
playing
against the
basketball
best
against
players.
the best players in
But
the
it's
league.
not, what does it accomplish though?
Getting better. What
No,
does
it doesn't.
practicing accomplish?
I don't think they should practice either.
So then they
play
shouldn't
NBA
train.
games.
Shouldn't
They
practice.
shouldn't train.
They don't play it.
They shouldn't do any. They shouldn't
It's
work
like
on the
it's
game
like
of
a
basketball.
Good practice session.
And it's for more than just. It's
That-
like you
no,
said,
no,
promoting
so
the league
sure,
and
sure,
their
sure,
brand.
sure.
many
Okay, so-
positives.
And
of
it's
it.
a time for them all to come together and like
Right.
talk
so
to
that's-
each other about ball
So
and
that's what the
see how-
All-Star game was for the past however long it was. Now, these new rules are trying to
So
make
now
it
they
more
tried hard for 10
competitive.
minutes, just like they've done any other day of their career. So it's
They
an
haven't done
outrage.
that. They didn't do that last year in the All-Star game.
They've tried hard for 10 minutes in a situation that didn't matter probably multiple times a year.
Wouldn't you
and
rather
that's also
minimize
something
the
you
risk
do
of
in
doing
practice. Is like, all right,
Okay,
Play
that's
to
practice
10.
though. That's unavoidable. Like you are practicing to get better and do that. You don't have to go 100%. Yo, did you guys watch?
I
the
don't.
All-Star
Okay,
game?
that's my
Yes.
point.
It's fucking
Okay,
ridiculous. They're
so
going
that's
so
that's
hard.
my point. The issue isn't that they're going 100%. It's the fact that the game exists, and that should be people's. Everyone,
No,
I
because
can't
it was
believe that they would
fine.
try hard. Like that's not the problem. It just should
No,
be that
because-
they could get hurt any time playing in that game, so they shouldn't play. If that's your attitude, you shouldn't be pissed that they're trying.
But there's
should be pissed that they're
risk,
playing
there's-
at all.
There's an amount of risk that's involved in the game.
Okay, but the fact that there's
Amount of
any
risk
risk
in
in
everything.
there's an amount
Right.
of
So
okay. The fact
what's more risky?
Okay,
going
and
50% or going 110%?
the fact that there's any risk in your attitude about it.
I don't think there's much of a difference there.
The fact that there's
We're
any
gonna
risk in
wait
your
until the
attitude towards the
best player in the
situation
NBA.
should mean that you think that they shouldn't play at all. Then,
yeah, sure.
so then
I'd rather them
I
not
agree
play
with that.
than go 100%.
So I don't think the level of trying matters.
But I do think it because it's less of a it's a more reasonable side of each argument. You'd rather them not play at all or go 100%, or let's compromise and they go 50% and 50%. It's 0 or 100 or 50 and 50, and you can meet the best of both worlds.
And then what do you do when somebody tears their ACL going 50%?
It's been like that for 30
You'd be like,
years.
oh, everybody's
Who has
got to
torn
go
their
harder so
ACL?
they could be just.
Who has torn their ACL in the past
Who
30
tore
years?
their
in the
ACL
offseason?
in the fourth quarter?
Wait for it, dude. Wait.
Okay, how many?
Wait
How
for it.
many?
That's all I'm saying is that it might be riskier to see, and then when somebody does that, you're gonna.
How many-
If LeBron tore his ACL
How many
that game, you'd be
major
fucking
players
livid.
are out for the year this year that got hurt this year?
They played in meaningful games that mattered.
Who?
for the journey to the title.
Who?
Who's what?
Name players that have gotten hurt in the NBA this year. No,
This season or
this season
last
that are
year
out for the
into-
year.
into
Just this year.
Steph Curry, Kyrie
Klay
Irving.
Thompson.
He got hurt last year. That doesn't count apparently.
I thought we were just
Towns
saying
missed a
people
bunch of games. I mean, I don't know what point are you making? How many more players do I have to name?
Fuck. I honestly forgot
Okay.
where I was going
All
with
right.
that.
I'm glad that I listed those players. But the point is they got hurt in meaningful games. The regular season is supposed to mean something. Whether or not it does is besides the point. But
Yeah, and that
They-
too. People
they
say
are-
the regular season doesn't matter, and they
Okay,
hate
but
that they don't try in the regular season. And now load management's this whole thing. So basically,
Those
people are
are
saying you
so-
shouldn't try in the
that's
regular
so
season. You're a
different,
big
though.
defender of load management.
I
Isn't it?
agree
Isn't
with
it
that.
fucking
That's
Kawhi?
why I'm
so
saying they
they're
shouldn't go
deeming
100%
those
in a game
games
that doesn't
not that
matter.
important.
Isn't it Kawhi's fucking problem if he's gonna take off regular season games and then go hard in the fourth quarter of an All-Star game? Shouldn't he wouldn't the logical thing for him to be like, this game doesn't matter, I'm gonna sit out?
yes, that's a fair
So
point.
it's his fault.
I get that, but what I'm saying is the way that the rules are created, because you have to to a certain extent you have to protect the players from themselves.
No, you
The
don't.
competitive nature of
It's the
of them is
NBA. They want to market. They want to make money. That's it.
okay.
They don't give a fuck
yeah,
about
they
a player
fucking
in the
say-
league.
They know, what they're
LeBron
doing.
James,
Like, you
face of the league, they don't give a fuck about him.
I I get all the financial aspects behind it. I'm just saying, like, they shouldn't do it because if
they're not going to
my
protect
favorite player
anyone.
got hurt, that's fucking. It would ruin the NBA.
Then
what
your
would
favorite
happen
player's
if LeBron
an idiot.
tore his ACL in the All-Star game? Would that not ruin the rest of the league?
No.
Of course it would.
They'd make
If
a lot of money.
The best player on the favorite team, it wouldn't ruin the fucking money of the league. Maybe it probably would though.
No, it wouldn't.
If the best player on the favorite of the NBA Finals,
You know how much money they probably make off the All-Star game?
they would lose money if that happened. If LeBron tore his ACL, they lost money when he went to the Lakers for being on the West Coast.
But like he
Would they not
runs
lose
he
money
runs
if
the
he
risk.
tore his ACL?
No one's. I'm
He
not
runs the
arguing
risk
that.
of tearing his ACL every night.
But it's worth it.
Why?
Because it's a
if
real
people aren't
game.
watching the games on the West
That's
Coast,
an NBA problem.
is it worth
It's not
it?
a LeBron problem. That's an NBA problem.
I don't
He's
think
not
there's
gonna
a solution to your problem.
Yeah, there is.
I think
Just make
everyone's-
the All-Star game what it
everyone-
was for the past 30 years.
Has
Everybody's
no
like
one
all
ever-
excited, like, oh, it was great, like it was so competitive. I saw Kemba Walker miss a wide open layup with 2 minutes left in the game.
I think
'cause he
everyone's
sucks.
2
but-
minutes left untimed.
Yeah, with 2 points left, it was like a game-winning layup. He fucking blew it. But you're getting all excited about these one individual moments. In the grand scheme of things,
Who's that excited?
it's the two of you.
I'm not
You
excited
love
at
it.
all. I don't care.
I just think it was.
Everybody was
I just don't think-
reviews.
I don't think it matters that they tried. I think that's ridiculous.
Okay, so if
If
LeBron
these
went
guys
up and he
can't,
dunked
if
and
these
when Giannis
freaks
blocked
of
that
nature,
shot,
these athletic freaks of nature can't try hard for 10 minutes, then what are they doing? Why are they professional
'cause
athletes?
You've seen the NBA. You can break or
And-
tear
yes,
anything
I know.
on any play.
I know, and
Do you
Paul
like?
George
Do you
you
like
can
the
fall
dunk
down your
contest?
stairs and
Freak.
tear your Achilles.
Okay,
Do you like the dunk contest? Do you like the skills competition?
Yeah, I guess so.
The dunk contest is
People-
probably
people
more
don't have
dangerous than the fucking
non-contact
All-Star game.
injuries
Okay,
all the
but
time.
Derrick Jones Jr. is playing in it, and it doesn't matter if he gets hurt. You're not having LeBron James
All right.
dunk on Giannis.
We should reel this in. But that was a good
Just
debate.
like you think LeBron should know better than to
I
like
still,
really
then they
go
shouldn't
all
I
out.
still don't really get your
So
point.
then they shouldn't play.
You don't get my point.
No.
I get it, but I just don't think it's
LeBron
like
should know better than to not go hard.
What are you
because
gonna do?
can't-
Everyone's,
Tell
like,
LeBron you can't
so
play in this game?
overprotective.
He
What
should,
can you do about
he
it?
should play.
Everyone's so over.
Someone's
Like,
gonna get hurt. Someone's gonna get hurt. It's gonna
Okay.
happen.
everyone like treats them like they're glass.
Because they are. They
No,
get hurt
they're
every
not.
fucking night.
All these guys are playing in the All-Star
A
game.
lot
They're
of
very
these guys
healthy.
have played fucking 70 games each of the last like 10 years.
Fair. So what I originally said was a guy like Joel Embiid should not be going all out.
But it's his choice to do it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying they should
So get pissed at
avoid
Joel.
those situations.
So get
where
pissed
that's
at
gonna
Joel
happen.
Embiid.
I am very pissed at Joel Embiid for a lot
Why?
of
For
different
shaking
reasons.
baking LeBron out of
Don't
his
shake and
shoes?
bake me. Somebody's never even seen Talladega Nights.
That was a hell of a move.
He
and
did
he
it.
played well.
He hit him with the dream shake very badly.
That was sick.
I have to piss.
I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad he played in the game.
Was it worth it? If he gets hurt, the play afterwards that you miss him for the entire Eastern Conference Finals?
I don't
Is
give
that
a
worth
fuck.
it? You wouldn't care if he sat out the whole Eastern Conference Finals because you saw the dream shake.
I would.
Don't even no.
What? It would be unfortunate that he got injured. Doesn't matter the circumstance. How much worse does it make it that Seth Lugo broke his toe in the fucking hotel room, or if he's on the court, if he's on the field? It's the same. It doesn't matter.
It's not comparable.
It all doesn't
He's
matter.
just walking around his house. If he was like doing a circus act and he broke his arm, I'd be like, why are you doing that?
But that's so much more positive than fucking walking
That's
around your
also,
hotel
like,
room.
The All-Star game is basketball. It's not. They're not juggling knives.
They're doing what they do every night.
Moron. What's next?
I don't know.
Oh, we got the scraps. That was a scrap.
That was a good one. Definitely a lot of good ad material.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
What's next?
Scraps. We're fired up.
Should we scrap them up?
Yeah.
All right, you got to go first, though. Matt McGloin.
All right. So that could have been a scrap heap segment in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, some
Yeah, I'll
people,
scrap Matt.
a lot of people in Matt's eyes deserve a scrap. I think Matt deserves a scrap. I think a lot of people that are crying about people trying for a few minutes deserve a scrap. But that's not who I'm scrapping today. I'm scrapping someone more relevant than anyone we've talked about so far. We've talked about LeBron, Giannis, all these NBA All-Stars, and this guy matters much, much more in the landscape of sports and life itself. That man is New York Guardians starting quarterback Matt McGloin.
Convenient name.
Yes. So I'm technically still scrapping Matt. So this past weekend, the Guardians played the DC Defenders, who are one of the top teams in the XFL, and it's a young 2-game existence. And they were getting absolutely demolished in the first half. And Matt McGloin
Wait, should I pull
walking
up
in
the
there.
audio?
What?
Should I pull up the audio?
Yeah, we're going to pull up the audio quick so you can hear what he said going into halftime.
Keep going.
It wasn't pretty. It was pretty pathetic. And, he wonders why he's in the XFL and not the NFL. And apparently it's not just because he's not good at quarterback. It's because he's a complete asshead and can't take responsibility for his actions. So Matt has the audio here. He's going to play it real quick.
This is Matt McGloin going into halftime, down 12-0.
What does this team need to do on offense to get something going here?
We need to change the whole entire game plan at halftime.
Okay, what do you need to change about the game plan? What are you frustrated about?
There's just a lot going on right out now. It's embarrassing for us here as an offense, so a lot of things we want to fix and correct.
Thanks.
Wow.
So I talked to head coach Kevin.
He goes, wow.
Yeah, he said something. He goes, change the entire game plan. The way he says it is so funny. Okay, so you heard that. That's Matt McGloin going in at halftime. And let me just tell you what Matt McGloin's halftime stats were. He was 8 for 19 with 44 yards and 2 picks. So the offensive game plan must have really made him throw the ball to the other team. That was I heard that was actually the 5th play in the script was throw a pick to the corner on the out route. He was not happy with it, and then
Executed it perfectly.
he was getting it done, and he realized I don't think we can do this, guys. I don't think we can script me throwing interceptions.
Sounds like sabotage.
Yeah. So he got benched after those comments, and I think that's hilarious. That I loved those interviews, like especially after a guy did something wrong, just like going up to him in the heat of the moment and they say some shit that they probably didn't want to say. But then we get some more audio of Matt McGloin, and this one we can't play because it's honestly hard to hear even when you're just listening to it on your phone. But he's basically talking to the head coach, and he's like, I've been talking about it with him since December. And, I don't want to name names, but, I just been telling him,
that.
and he's basically like saying it's this guy's fault that I was throwing picks and, 8 for 19, under 50% completion percentage. So not only he does that, then after the game, he's saying, we weren't trying out there on offense. There was definitely a lack of communication. All about more stuff about how the offense isn't succeeding and it's not him playing bad. And then you look at a guy like Landry Jones, who is playing just as bad, if not worse, in a game, and they were like, what do you think's going on? Is it mental or physical? And he was just like, yeah, I'm just not playing good at all.
He's like, I don't want to make excuses.
Yeah, they like tried to bait him kind of when they said it's mental or physical. He's like, I don't want to make excuses. I'm just not throwing the ball well, Like, that's all you have to say. But this guy, this nobody who thought he was hot shit because he was 1-0 in the XFL, just comes out here and starts throwing guys under the bus when it's no one's fault but his.
He's 30 years old, you know that?
Matt McGloin?
Matt McGloin is 30 years old.
Wasn't he drafted like 3 years ago?
Yep. He's Joe Burrow 2.0.
Yeah, I mean,
no, but
just
you're right.
Absolutely ridiculous. He does not deserve to be the starter anymore.
He got benched. Who was the backup?
I don't know.
Something like Williams or some shit?
Yeah, someone better. Yeah. Someone who's a leader.
That not the halftime interview, the one where he was like talking to
the coach.
Gilbride about like, I don't want to name names, like that shit. I saw that. I was like, what is he talking about?
Like, don't you know that you're mic'd up?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like, it's clearly your fault.
And then he just keeps going after the game.
What's funny is, like, there's no way that just started when he was in the XFL.
Yeah, he was probably
like that.
Part of the problem from the beginning.
Yeah.
This guy is just not doing any favors for himself.
So, Matt McGloin, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Just, you're making excuses in the XFL.
Who was his backup when he got hurt in the playoff game? The Raiders
he
played.
Was the
Connor
backup.
Cook?
It was
No,
Derek
but then
Carr
he got
that
hurt in the game.
Oh, yeah, Connor Cook. I think it
He
was
was probably
Connor
just
Cook.
like, my shoulder's not feeling good tonight.
He was probably like the center, man. Snapped it too high.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to name names, but,
That's good.
All right, listen.
He thought he was a boss too, and he like came out. We have to change the whole game plan at halftime.
Yeah.
And
it's not working.
She goes, "Oh, really? The entire game plan?"
It's like, do you think that the problem is that you're 3 for 12?
Yeah,
throwing the ball.
If she said that, she would have sunned him so bad.
The head coach probably heard that and was like, "You're right. We're gonna go with the
honestly,
backup."
if they're gonna do that, that shit where the reporters ask them questions, they should honestly like be like, "What about those 2 picks you threw?"
Rag them.
That would add like some funny.
She goes, "Really? The whole game plan?"
I saw someone write that Vince should like make guys like be divas and shit. Like,
just build characters.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what this is.
That'd be funny.
McCoy he's playing heel.
Yeah. It's real football, but he's like, just act up a bit in the interviews.
It just cuts to like the fucking locker room, and he's just like shitting on one of his wide receivers. Go fucking get open next time.
I don't care if I throw the ball 10 yards over your head. Can't you jump?
Just get there.
40-inch vert?
That might be the XFL's path to success.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Scripted
if
football?
the announcer, it doesn't have to be scripted football, but like, just like play.
Wasn't that how it was
character.
the first time?
But
it was like too overt.
It was crazy.
It was like instead of a coin toss, they would fight for the football.
It was a choke slam.
Yeah. Hey, man. PJ Walker's elite.
That's funny.
That guy is good. He looks good.
Dude, he makes good throws.
He's on my
telling you,
team.
these guys, they just need. It's better for these guys to be playing in the XFL than to be the third string inactive quarterback on NFL teams.
Unless it's scripted.
I don't think it's scripted.
Where was PJ Walker? Where? I've never heard of this guy before.
He was, I think
he's
he was
probably
on the
bad.
Colts, but he was like the third string on the Colts. He's young. He's like 23, 24.
Where did he play
Temple
college football?
And apparently Andrew Luck called his dad, who's the commissioner of the XFL, and he was like, "You got to get this guy on it." He was like, "I played with him, like he was on the Colts. Like you got to get him on a team."
Wait,
He
his
was
dad
on the Colts. Yeah.
His dad is the commissioner.
Oliver
of the XFL.
Luck. Yeah.
Yes.
So he called him, was like, "I'm telling you, this guy's good."
Andrew Luck's dad.
Yes.
Okay.
Who do you think?
I thought you meant
PJ Walker's dad?
Yeah.
I was like, he had no idea
Coach
that his
son.
son is so good.
This guy PJ Walker. Who's that?
Apparently, Andrew Luck was the guy who called Colin Kaepernick to play in the XFL. And then,
What if Andrew Luck goes
And then
to
he
the
asked
XFL?
for an egregious amount of money.
yes, because he's scared. Why would you not just take any amount of money and just like prove that you can play football?
Because if you know that you're gonna bring in a lot of money to the XFL,
But they only have so much. And like make like a payment plan where it's like a percentage of what you bring.
realistically,
in, you bring back.
the what's really happening is he probably got a really nice settlement from whatever happened with
he
the
got
NFL,
the
and he
NFL
doesn't
settlement. He got the Nike money, the lifetime contract or whatever it was.
care. Yeah, he probably doesn't give a fuck
He
anymore.
probably
But
doesn't
so
want to play.
that's fine, but like don't. And this is so. This is such like a side conversation, but
It's probably part of his image.
But-
If you're gonna
but-
say don't like be like I got it, I can
don't
play.
act like you still want to play in the NFL if you don't want to play football.
You don't think he has guys telling
I
him?
don't think anyone really cares anymore, honestly.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely not like a relevant conversation to have, but at the same time, it would have been lit to see Colin Kaepernick play in the XFL.
And I don't
If
think
he was on one of those teams, it'd be sick.
Yes.
I don't think he I think if he could play in the NFL, he would. But I also think
No,
you don't think he would.
it's not his choice.
I'm saying he doesn't have a choice, but if he had the choice, I think he would. But I
Yeah.
also think
At
it's
this
good
point,
for
he's
like
a civil
playing in the
rights activist.
XFL. Like it doesn't help.
His
It does.
It
agenda.
doesn't help his image of like being.
He's a civil rights activist.
Yeah, he's trying to like be like they're holding me back.
Right,
Like they're
but
not
if he,
allowing me to play.
I get that, but if he went to the XFL and tore it up, it'd be like, now they're really holding me back because I can still do this, and they're not letting me.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
But I
get
feel
it
like
to a
Alex
certain
is saying he
extent.
probably doesn't care anymore.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But then don't.
But
say
that's the point.
if
He
you
probably
don't
doesn't care to
care-
play football, so that he'd rather just keep up the whole.
Yeah.
But then don't
no, what
say
I-
that
I-
it'll take
I do
20
get Matt's
million to
point.
play.
I get Matt's
No,
point
that
of
makes
like,
sense.
why are you causing like a ruckus if you just really don't give a fuck in the end?
It's
Which
fine if you don't want to play.
and like
don't-
even on like the civil rights side of things, like he's not really accomplishing anything by like.
yeah, because I mean, look, he didn't go about it the right way, and whatever his message is good, and I'm sure he's probably done a lot of good things.
That would be if he was.
Yeah, he definitely has.
That would be
Okay.
really good for them if he was there.
the XFL.
Yeah,
But don't.
I would watch him.
I would. It
don't-
would be sick.
You can't just like walk in and be like, I want 20 million, or I'm not going to play. Like, that means that you
He
don't
wouldn't-
really
he doesn't
want to
deserve
play.
20 million from the NFL.
Yeah, so you don't actually want to play, which is fine. You don't have to
No
play.
NFL team would pay him even close to that.
No.
It is what it is. It's too far gone to get into.
But
It's-
those
it's hard to
players like
even-
that are gonna be what drives that league. I think mobile quarterbacks over there.
It's hard to even get
because
get, like-
PJ is elite.
I just think that it's just like you don't have to be the best passer if you can move.
It's hard to
And
even get
Cardell.
into a deep conversation about Kaepernick because, like, the civil rights side of everything is like, at this point, it's like not we don't see it, right? And like, so all we want to do is watch him play football. Obviously, we support everything that he like is fighting for, but at the end of the day, we just want to watch him play football, and like he doesn't seem interested in that. So it's like one story, 2 stories, 3 stories, and it's just like, all right, this isn't really
Yeah.
something to be taken seriously anymore. At least
You're right.
on the sports side of things.
And that's a fair point, but it's also like it's fine if he wants to do like the social activism and whatever, like that, all of that stuff that he was like really making a stand about. It was totally worth it. And Alex is pooping his pants, so I can't
Alex just
continue
walked
to
away.
talk about it. So like the whole thing, like, it became like an issue because people were talking about the football aspect of it and losing track of like the actual social rights and like what he was getting at the whole time. So it became a matter of whether he wants to play football or not, which is what I'm guilty of. And I'm saying like, oh, he's not that good. His talent in football doesn't matter if what his message is greater than that. But like what you said, like we don't even know what his message really is at this point because he's so quiet.
I think we're losing sight of it.
Yeah, it's getting very sidetracked and bogged down.
He's not he's not in the public eye.
Never. He hasn't even spoken publicly since the entire thing happened.
Maybe he'll eventually give in.
Years ago.
Maybe he'll eventually test out the XFL.
Not at that price range.
I guess not. No, not at that. Maybe he'll realize his whole thing is.
He's only getting older. He's not gonna
That's true.
be any better.
You want to start getting into your scrap?
Yeah, this was a long-winded scrap heap, but okay. So we're gonna go into Richard Scrap, Matt McGloin, XFL. They're doing good things there, but I have a big-time scrap, and I've been cultivating this for weeks now. Carlos Correa, and really it's a microcosm of the Houston Astros as a whole, because they've been scrapped by every player in Major League Baseball, basically. But this has been a long time coming, basically, is what I'm saying. Carlos Correa, after the entire scandal, the cheating, the defending of the cheating, he comes out, gives a 9-minute interview where he really is just talking complete nonsense, where he's basically defending his team against what Cody Bellinger said. And Cody Bellinger, the defending MVP of the National League, came out and talked about how because the Dodgers lost to the Astros in the World Series, he said that they felt that they were robbed of the World Series. Aaron Judge was robbed of the MVP by Jose Altuve. He said he lost respect for everybody in the Astros locker room and whatever. He really just Cody Bellinger tore apart the Astros for what happened. And then Carlos Correa decides to come out and tries to defend the Astros for whatever happened. And he says some ridiculous things. So I just want to quote a couple of the statements that Carlos Correa said in this interview.
Is he a player?
Carlos Correa is he's the shortstop of the Astros. He was a number 1 overall pick in 2012. He's like a superstar. Yeah, go for it. I got a full one here.
And who was the manager of the Red Sox? Cora?
Alex Cora, yeah.
And wasn't he on the Astros?
He was the bench coach.
Okay.
The year that they won.
Okay, sorry.
So Carlos Correa in this, he went on a 9-minute rant of why, defending the team, defending all of this. And this was after, Alex, if you remember this, the day before that, Correa was the most apologetic one of the entire group. And he was like, we fucked up, we're sorry, we did all this, we did all that. He was very genuine. And then the next day, he decided to just turn it all on a dime. He says, the first thing he says is he's talking about the Yankees in the ALCS, which is before they played the Dodgers in the World Series. He says, the Yankees, they scored 1 run in the first game, 1 run in the second game, they scored 1 run in the 6th game, and they scored no runs in the 7th game. So real quick, game 1, 2, 6, and 7, first of all, they're all the games in Houston, right? Because it's 2-3-2. So those are all of the home games for Houston where it was understood that they're cheating in the games that they're at home. So they're talking about how the Yankees didn't score at home. And that's all well and good, whatever. They had fucking Justin Verlander. They had who was pitching? It was before Garrett Cole. It was Verlander. Who was the number 1 then? They had Dallas Keuchel. Dallas Keuchel is who it was. So they had great pitchers, but I'm sorry, the Yankees didn't hit for 4 games. The Astros were cheating the entire 162 game schedule. You would not have been there in the ALCS for 4 games if you guys were not cheating the entire season. So first of all, it doesn't matter what the Yankees did. And then he goes on to say he actually has the nerve to respond to Cody Bellinger, talking about how Bellinger struck out 17 times in the World Series. As if you he could have hit a home run every single one of those at bats. You're trying to beat a team that's cheating against you. My entire thing is that it doesn't matter what the Yankees did in 5 games. It doesn't matter what the Dodgers did in 6 games, because you cheated to get there, and you should not have been in the series in the first place. The Yankees could have played the Red Sox in the ALCS. They could have played the Tampa Bay Rays. Somebody who didn't cheat their entire way to get to the season. So, Carlos Correa, I'm scrapping you because you're completely tone deaf on what exactly it is that you did wrong in the first place. Sure, you can win one-on-one against a team in a 4-game, 7-game series, but the entire issue that we're having and why every single person in Major League Baseball hates the Astros and is coming out and talking against the Astros is because it's not that small of a sample size, and that you guys have been cheating since day 1 of 2017, and everything that you've done since then is completely tainted. So don't try to spin it around on Cody Bellinger. Don't spin it around on anybody else, even Mike Fiers, who's coming out and being the whistleblower for all of this, because he was blaming him. Just take responsibility for your actions and just shut the fuck up. It's just ridiculous that he has the nerve to come back at these players who were victimized by the cheating scandal to try to say that they were right in the first place and they were the better team anyway, and that you should have beat us the right way and all that. It's complete nonsense. And I'm scrapping Carlos Correa for that.
Yeah. If I'm Dusty Baker, who's the new manager of the Astros, I'm calling a team meeting and saying, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I don't care how you feel about it. It's perfectly valid to be a player on the team and be like, but we would have won anyway. Sure, be as confident as you want. When you're dealing with the media and every team hates you right now, just turn away, say sorry, and just beg for forgiveness.
You just want to bite the bullet, hope it all goes away.
Yeah, I mean,
and you literally, like, it's not like nobody cares what happened in the series. Like, nobody cares how many times Cody Bellinger struck out. Everybody knows that you cheated for an entire season, and it doesn't matter how the other team played. You cheated, like, really badly.
It's so besides
you were just doing the worst thing you could possibly do. So don't be like, oh, they should have beat us the right way. They couldn't beat you the right way because you weren't playing the right way.
You're fighting a fight that is just not winnable.
Yeah. And so I think there's, like, the natural human element of everyone's attacking them constantly. I'm sure, like, it's hard to always be like, yeah, sorry, we're wrong, sorry. Like, guys are gonna snap, but at this point, like, you just gotta accept it and be like, people are gonna shit on me, people are gonna attack me and ask me questions all the time about this. Like, I just gotta keep my head, because the more you dig into it like that, the worse it's gonna be for you.
Yeah.
The more you're gonna be talked about. You're gonna keep it, like you said, keep it in the news longer.
Exactly. Take some notes from, like, all these guys that got caught for, like, taking steroids for all these years. Like, A-Rod and Ryan Braun are 2 really good examples. It was just like, I got caught, please forgive me, I'm sorry. They go out, people forget about it, and people love them now. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Roger Clemens is like, I did not take steroids, I didn't take steroids. And it's like, everyone knows you took steroids, and it doesn't matter. Like, you're the asshole for still, like, fighting against it. Just, like, lay down the guns and just admit you were wrong, and then it'll go away.
It's gonna take a long time, many years before it'll probably never fully go away.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a while, but you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, and, like, they make the questions worse for themselves when they fight back like that.
Of course.
Like, it's the same thing with Rob Manfred. Like, he says. He calls the World Series trophy a piece of metal. Mm-hmm. Like, first of all, that's, like, the wrong thing to do. It's a defensive act, and like he's probably regrets it. But the next time he gets in front of a mic, somebody's gonna ask him, why did you call that a piece of metal? Like, what do you have to say about that? You know, it's just like you're digging yourself a bigger grave every time you speak. And Carlos Correa, like, god damn, man, just sit back and just like accept what you said. Did you hear what he said about Mike Fiers? He said all this shit, like he's calling out Mike Fiers. He's like, you won the World Series just like the rest of us did. You have the ring. You were celebrating with us on the field. And like, what do you have to say for yourself? It's like, dude, that's the one guy who actually felt bad about it and came out and admitted it. And you're going to try to blame him when you're the one that was cheating?
And this is this is all a result of proper punishment not being given out.
Yeah.
Like, all these players should have had their World Series rings taken away. Like, the whole the World Series should have been vacated because they cheated to get there. Rob Manfred wouldn't have to answer to these questions because he protected the integrity of the game. The players would have nothing to say because it's like they just got completely like emasculated.
Yeah.
And it
Everyone's
would just all be taken care
of. For themselves now.
I going at that guy that revealed it, it just like it doesn't make it fine now because he was part of it and revealed it. Like, it just still terrible. There's stop trying to make an excuse.
Like, oh, you still cheated.
Yeah, just
Whoever
stop
said
talking.
it.
That's the key to everything. Is just stop talking about it.
Yeah, no,
forever.
That's true. And I just wonder, like, the people in charge of the Astros now, like what's the message getting disseminated to your team right now? You need to like control this because it's not just going away, right? Like, not only did like, first of all, the organization got off pretty well. So like, you first off, you got off well. Like, you basically got away with it. You got to keep your World Series rings.
Yeah.
It makes everything worth it.
They scapegoated the manager.
Like, now, yeah, like, you scapegoated the manager who arguably, like, who really knows, but
it doesn't even matter. You can just plug somebody in.
It doesn't matter. But now, like you were doing so well.
Plug and play, baby.
You were doing so well. Like, you got off pretty well. Like, now it's just like, all right, control the fire. And they failed.
Yeah. I'm going to relate it to
and I'm happy about it.
It's
fuck the Astros.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different situation. It's
so
not a
bad.
scandal, but just on the subject of shut up. In the movie world, because I love movies, Ben Affleck was Batman. Everyone knew,
Now he's playing
reports
himself.
everywhere. Yeah, now he's playing himself in a basketball movie, but everyone knew that he was supposed to drop out as Batman. There was no official announcement for Warner Bros. Or anything. People would ask him about it all the time, and for 2 years they would not comment on it until everyone just stopped asking, and then they finally were like, okay, he's not Batman anymore. So they just let everyone shut up, and then out of nowhere, okay, yeah. So that's
probably the best way to do it.
Just let everyone just settle down until everyone's at that point like he's probably not Batman.
That's like if they just kept fighting back, like, no, he's Batman. Yeah. He's gonna keep being Batman.
No, but like, dude, that's people were like that. Like, people were like in denial about it.
But it's like if the actual movie producers were saying that.
Yeah,
that's what the
exactly. Yeah, if they were like lying, like, oh, don't worry, he's still it. They were just like, we're not answering anything about it. Just don't talk about it. And it went away. And then they finally, after everyone stopped like going crazy, they just dropped.
That's how you do it.
It's obviously way different.
Carlos Correa, dude, this guy.
A wise man once said, "Nothing at all."
And he also said, "Shut your fucking mouth, Carlos Correa."
It's basically the same thing.
Just picture like an old monk just like on a hill. Shut the fuck up, Carlos Correa.
It's crazy too, because like I said, the first day that they met the media, he was the most apologetic. Like, everyone was like, "Oh, Carlos Correa is very mature.
It's Altuve."
He felt bad about it. He was super like responsible." And then the next day, once Cody Bellinger said what he said, Correa just lost his shit.
That's the thing, though, and like, you know, we always talk about like, you shit on players on your own team and then someone else does it and you defend them.
Yes.
So like once like a player like personally starts coming at you, then you're like, all right, fuck you.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's like something. It's like you know you're gatekeeping. and
Right.
you're more of defending yourself. But even though you know
you're
you
that
were
old
wrong,
player.
like when the media and the questions are coming at you, you know it's like, okay, like this is gonna happen. But then once these individual guys start saying shit about you, it's just like a more personal level, especially because they probably know them.
But if you know that you're wrong,
He's wrong to get
So
upset.
wouldn't you
I'm just
just
saying,
be
like I understand, like guys are gonna start snapping.
Yeah,
They
that's
deserve
why
to be
I don't-
ridiculed, but
I don't blame the players as much as I blame like the people in charge.
yeah,
Like there should be like the players are naturally gonna be like emotional to this subject, but there should be like meetings every day. Like when when you interact with the media, just diffuse it. Like be as low key as possible. Don't overreact to anything. Just don't, or you will get fucked.
the owner was the one that ruined the entire thing from the start. The owner literally said, he opened the press conference on that first day, and he said verbatim, I do not think that this impacted the game. He was like, we were the best team in 2017. We won the World Series. That's it. That's what he said.
All right, so the whole organization is gonna get fucked now because the owner's stupid.
yeah. I mean, they've all said dumb shit. I'm not defending that. I think for the player, I'm just talking like this situation with this guy Correa.
Yeah, no.
Seems like
I'm
it was
not like refuting what you're saying at all.
No, I'm not saying you are, but like I think the owner's a different story. Like,
You're not saying what I am.
All right. Do you have any more about Mr.
Wait,
Correa?
Fuck the Astros. Dumb idiot team.
What are you looking at?
Ruined the league.
I'm trying to find something. But keep talking.
What's next?
I think that was all we had for today. With the 2 scraps, some
That's
Snap
everything?
Shred, little Joe Burr,
Joe Burrow.
That was
or
good-
Joe
good
Bust.
talk. Yeah, I'm down to not talk about those questions because they're
I'm kidding.
not relevant anymore.
I think he can be good. I think he should be a man and play for the Bengals if he's really the best.
He's gonna play for the Bengals.
I know.
Good situation.
Hey,
over
ready?
there.
I think I found it.
Our opinion is, that this didn't.
Wait. Did you guys hear this? When Jim Crane said that it didn't impact the game. All right, let me just Alex, listen to this. Let me play it.
I'm listening.
This is talk about rotting from the head down, which I know that you love to talk about, how you hate ownership and management. This is where the Astros players are getting their advice from. Ready?
Our opinion is, that this didn't impact the game. We had a good team. We won the World Series, and we'll leave it at that.
Jim, when talking about the Yankees there, did you say...
What a
you feel
fucking
like this didn't
smug
impact the
asshole.
game? And what do you mean by that?
I didn't say it didn't impact the game. Our opinion is, that this didn't impact the game. I didn't say it didn't impact the game.
Wow.
It's like he literally was like, it didn't impact the game. I didn't say it didn't impact the
There's
game.
nothing I hate more than smug idiots.
So how can you, to a certain extent, how can you expect Correa and like all these guys to be better than that?
I can now.
Right?
Astros 66 and 96.
You think they're gonna be bad?
No, they'll be good.
It's just like,
I honestly want them to win the World Series.
no, you don't.
I want to watch the baseball world crash and burn.
It would be crazy if they did. We'd all have to
Let's
just like, eat
bring up
shit.
the definition of smug.
You?
Having or showing an excessive pride in oneself or one's achievements.
It's ridiculous.
That's
what
not
he said.
me.
It's
I was just-
ridiculous. He goes, it didn't impact the game.
I am the best, though.
He goes, what do you mean it didn't impact the game? I didn't
say
say- I didn't
That was
say-
literally the question after?
Yes. Dude, he goes,
He obviously
I didn't
is
say
just-
that.
just fucked up.
Our opinion is, that this didn't impact the game. We had a good team. We won the World Series, and we'll leave it at that.
Jim, when talking about the Yankees there, did you
Yeah,
say
that's what I'm
you feel
saying, it
like
cuts.
this didn't impact the game? And what do you mean by that?
I didn't say it didn't impact the game. You know, our
That sounds like
opinion
it comes later, though.
The
It doesn't
stutter
matter
too.
when it came. He said
No,
it didn't
obviously.
impact the game, and
was-
then
no,
he said
he was
I
an idiot.
didn't
It was-
say.
And you know, like the stutter too. It's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
intentional stutter, like the
It's like-
smug asshole stutter.
He's like, I fucked
didn't
up.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
fuck it.
bad.
Ugh.
It obviously.
I don't know
How
what to
could
say.
you even if he?
Sorry, your team cheated. And
How could it not have impacted the game? Why would you do it if it didn't impact the game? We were
we
just
put a
fucking
good team
around,
together, and then all of them cheated, and it didn't impact the game.
and that's it.
And they're good players, and then they cheated. That made them better, but it didn't impact the game.
We won the World Series. That's it.
It's just like, God, do some damage control. You literally
They're
like.
really handling it so poorly.
It's all Rob Manfred's fault.
Yeah, it is because he fined that owner. He fined him $5 million.
He was just like,
He's
all
like a
right.
fucking multi-billionaire. It's like, all right.
I
Did
didn't
we
say
call
it
it on
impact
the
the
night?
game.
Did we call this episode?
No,
Did we hit all the points?
No.
think
What about?
We must have been recording for like 3 hours.
What about the Cavs coach, dude?
He got fired,
Scott
right?
They like parted ways.
Half a year.
That was his first year.
This was his first season. I think.
Wow.
Byron,
Hour 52. Long.
Bylan or something.
Jim Bayline. Yeah,
Bayline?
he was like
Said Scott Linehan.
Bylan.
Who's Scott Linehan?
He's a person.
Who am I confusing him with?
Isn't that like an offensive coordinator?
I really thought.
Oh
it was
yeah.
Jim
He's-
Bayline.
He's the new LSU passing game coordinator.
You did not. That was a lucky guess. There's no way you knew that.
No, I think he coached in the NFL.
Oh, wait. So the
He
Cavs
was
coach is
the-
stepping down, right?
He was the Cowboys
Give her
offensive
upper.
coordinator from 2015 to 2018.
I read that.
Quitter.
I read that headline. I was like, "You're just gonna quit after being awful."
Didn't he like
He
call
was
them
like
thugs?
70 years old though. Why would he?
70?
Why would he take
Wasn't
that
he
job?
like? Wasn't it not going well? Didn't they hate him?
Yeah, he called. Yeah, he fucked
He was
up.
like, I meant slugs.
Yeah, yeah, right. Me too.
I meant dumb idiots. Fuck.
But still, one half a year into the season.
Yeah. Not a good look for a usually prestigious Cavaliers franchise,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, they're usually top of the line.
Yeah, you don't expect that. This is Astros level of incompetence.
Scandalism.
Yeah.
All right,
You know, like-
we should probably call it here because it's been 2 hours now.
Yeah, but
We didn't even hit half the topics we wanted to. But I think
We
this
hit
was
all
a
of
very
them.
successful episode.
you just lying?
No, we had an entire question segment that we didn't touch.
Okay, well, we'll get to them next week.
But no, I was saying that this was a hot episode.
It
This
was
good.
It was. There
It
was
was
some
fiery.
fire. There was some
Yeah,
passion.
great episode.
There was a
It was a
lot
great
of Matt
episode.
being
A lot of
wrong.
confusion also for a while there.
What was the confusion?
Why you're still sitting next to me. That
Oh.
was a big part of it.
Yeah. Well,
But if you're listening to us through 2 hours of this episode, thank you.
if you made it to here, this is the best part where we stop.
where we all go home.
Yeah. Make sure you stay tuned. Matt's gonna have his own.
Yes.
Show
Oh,
coming
good
soon.
idea. I'm gonna plug this right now. I with the NFL draft coming up, I'm gonna be doing a lot of
All right, that's it.
individual. That's good. I'm gonna do some individual NFL draft episodes, like that, like Richard's doing with the Lions Den, but it's gonna be entertaining. So tune in from then on, and we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Should be fun.
But I can't.
Make sure you tune into the Lions Den. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week.